nothing really happened. You see, I said, you're afraid of a face-off today? And I didn't hear what his response was. He just kept pushing and shoving, feeling the pressure a little bit. I mean, he can't walk around the place without surrounded by these donkeys. And that's what they are, absolute donkeys. So, look, he's in the ring on his own. And I know in his comments when he was watching the tapes, some tapes he was commenting on, I hope the referee keeps it fair. All I saw was prayers, please ref, keep me safe. So, like I said, I'll bang him out, hurt him badly, and I may make him beg me to follow the rules here. Sorry? I just seen him lurking around, and he started talking to my manager Audie here, and I seen him talking, and I walked over, and he was still talking to Audie. He wouldn't look, and I put my hand up and said, what's wrong with you? What's up with you, man? And he started like, put his head down the picture, and I was like, mate, get over it. You look stupid. You got your ass with the snow and get over it.
It looks like he was complaining. He was still complaining about it.
I actually don't know. I actually don't know. Yeah, I think he was trying to just get a little smart. Whatever. I didn't do it.
No, I mean, he was just complaining about the pick, but as soon as Conor walked over, he wouldn't look him in the eye, and then all of a sudden he said, where's your boss? Where's your boss? It was very theatrical. Look, Paulie seemed like a nice
little
guy.
Show. He's all right. I don't mind Paulie. I still don't mind him, even after all the stuff. I still don't mind him. I was only watching some tapes and all.
If there wasn't a fight going on, I promise you, he would leave. And just give Paulie to put out each 12 or each round.
Well, the situation was the knockdown. That was the thing, right? I sent it out. There you go. There's the fucking knockdown. So whatever, it's an amusing part of the story, and it's thank God, because like I said, he ain't doing football, Floyd doing football. So it's been me who's been pumping everything out with this one, so I'm pretty happy with it.
Conor, what's it like been working with Showtime, the All Access? You know, obviously Showtime is his distributor, and it has been difficult working with them.
I thought the All Access was done very well. I thought the show came across very well, and you know, it's okay. It's business. I'm not with them and they're not with me, and I know that and they know that, and that's it. Fuck them. And that's it. It's just, but the shows have been good. All Access was good. I've had my own people around for their content, the similar the way when Dana had his embedded crew. That's his people that are gifting them with the content. So it's the content game is another mad little game that's kind of involved in all this. But I'm okay. The All Access was okay. I think they're trying to like just keep things in the dark, like today. What was today? There was no that little thing with the fans. I didn't know, or just a little walk around, and I saw media, and then you get told little bits, and then whatever. So, like I said, it is what it is. I'm just strolling in and having fun with it and embracing it all.
Conor, you're weighing at 154 pounds. What weight do you expect to go into the ring at? Will you be a lot heavier than him?
Yeah, I'll be a lot heavier than him. Well, no, I'll be heavier. I'll be a lot heavier than him. So,
Conor,
and make no mistake, Garrett, he'll feel every single pound.
Conor, being so confident that you're going to win on Saturday, are you thinking of calling up some other boxer? I don't know, Canelo, De La Hoya has been calling you.
De La Hoya? He hasn't called.
No, he's calling you for Canelo. You consider that? Are you watching the fight on September 16th?
Look, we'll see what happens. I mean, like I said, I will be the king of both sports. I will be the true king of fighting. I'm already the true king of fighting. I'll be the king of boxing now also. So I'll get to pick and choose where the fights take place, whether it takes place in a squared circle or an octagon. So I'll decide. But I am open to both, most certainly.
What do you make of him saying that he's going to
you know what? I may whoop this fool on Saturday night, right? And change it from not an octagon, not a ring, create my own one. Create some brand new hybrid middle of the ground, like a half octagon, half ring or something. I don't know, something. And say, you want to fight me? This is my fucking place. Maybe that'll be a nice one. I don't know, we'll see. Look, I'm just having fun. We'll see what happens. But I stay ready to fight. I'm ready to fight now. Make no mistake.
Conor, you brought in a boxing referee, you brought in boxers to spar, but you haven't brought in a boxing coach. What was the reason behind that?
Look, I'm boxing my entire life. We are preparing to fight my entire life. There's this. Why would I bring in someone when there's this boxing versus MMA type thing? Anyway, it's not needed. It is not needed. I've been with my team my whole life. They know every shot I throw. They know my moods, my they know everything. So there was no need for it. There was absolutely no need for it. I was very happy with how the camp went. Very happy with how it came together. Even looking at, I was watching a load of sparring today. When you watch earlier spars, and then you like, it's like we like Bruce Lee said, we add what is useful and discard what is not. And that's the way the spars have gone. I started sparring, and then throughout each individual spar, I'm implementing certain situations, and then as the final spar approached, I watched the final spar, and I was like, all the unnecessary was gone, and it was a cleaner product. It was just the perfect product. Do you know what I'm saying? So there was situations where certain movements was like not necessary, like a mixed martial arts move or a certain switch. As it went on, the correct moves just formed in, and what was useful was used, what was not was discarded. Bruce Lee.
Conor, how was the run-in with Floyd right now? About how are you for Floyd? Hello.
So, hello, how are you?
Good, thank you. How was the run-in with Floyd 20 minutes ago?
It wasn't really a run-in. I said, are you afraid of a face-off or what's up? And then his little goons got in the way, and then pushing and shoving, and that's it.
Conor, what do you think about Floyd's defense, and how do you crack that code? Because no other boxer has been able to do that.
Yeah, I know exactly how I'm going to crack that code. I will show it, and then I will say it. I've watched, because people always ask me these questions. I'm like, you know what? I don't give a fuck about his defense. The same way I don't give a fuck about his offense. The same way I don't give a fuck about his record, his accomplishments, any of that. A fight's a fight, and a fight night, it's me and him in there. So I'd never really paid. I don't care like what about his defensive capabilities, like everyone's asked me. But then people continually ask me, and then I start watching some boxers attack him and how they approach him and what happens in the contest, in the early rounds to the later rounds. And I believe I know exactly how I'm going to break him down, and I will show that, and then we will talk about it at the press conference.
He said some disparaging things about MMA years ago. I know you talked about that, and you remember those things. What was it? How does that fuel you for this fight?
Well, originally that's what kind of woke me up. I was a young kid listening to him talk down about the sport that I was dedicating my entire life to. A sport that would, like, if we're talking fighting with no rules, then there's no match. So I'm watching him under all these rules and the way he fights and saying what he's saying, and that kind of said, and then I realized we're the same weight, similar weight. That was when he first became on my radar. I said, you know what, I'm going to climb up, and although we're in different disciplines, I will get that fight with him. And then throughout time, I rose up, became a multiple weight world champion, and then it turns out he was the one that came to me, so it worked out perfect.
How early are you talking about, Conor?
When that kind of debate was all going on, like I'm talking way back, right? When was all that going on?
2 years ago.
Nah, yeah, well, 2 years ago, me and him started talking. I'm talking me as a kid watching. Yeah, all of that time.
After going through a full boxing training camp, how much better do you think you are today versus when you started training?
Oh man, levels I did. The last fight, the fight before that, it's like looking at a different person. So we're very pleased with the progress.
Like, what would happen if the Conor of today fought the Conor from the first day of camp?
I'd whoop him, no doubt about it. Thanks.
Well, guys, it is a bit early, but are you feeling also support from back home? From Ireland, from Britain? Anyone been sending messages to you?
Of course, the support has been phenomenal. So I always take in the support, and I look to prove my support is correct. That's number one.
Any other sports look from back home?
Yeah, people have reached out to me. I just embrace it all. It's so much. I'm just kind of in the bubble, embracing it and grateful for it, and looking forward to going and doing my thing on Saturday.
As a stand-up fighter, that's a strength in your sport.
Well, I'm a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as well. Make no mistake, I'm also a master in the clinch. I have finished men with elbows to the temple in the clinch. I have many ways and many skills, so I am a free fighter.
Given that you're good at that, are you reaching the point where you feel perhaps more comfortable as a boxer in this situation than in the UFC? You look like you're settling into boxing.
Yeah, of course, because I'm preparing for a boxing contest, so we put in the systems to become even more comfortable and more controlled in there. So, but make no mistake, I'm looking forward to going back there and rattling the foot off the cheek, and picking up my kicking game again, my clinch. All that matters is how you see yourself. If you see yourself as the king, you know what I mean, you see yourself with all the belts and all everything, and no matter what no one else says, as long as you see that and really believe in it, then that's what's going to happen. Who can tell you otherwise? Who says what way
you see things? Who says what you see out of your eyes?
About the two of them at 10:40 on ITV. Do watch that, and we continue to wait ringside for the entrance of McGregor and Mayweather.
And we're expecting that entrance in around about 15-20 minutes time, although things are fluid, things can change. And Chris Eubank weighed in right on the money, 11 stone 13. The same can't be said for his opponent, as Gabriel was saying there. He needed 3 goes to make the weight and an extra 2 hours. What do you make of that?
That's hard. That's a hard question, to be quite honest, because I remember Steve Collins, the great Irish fighter he was at middle and super middle, and he used to struggle, especially at middle, to make the weight, but he used to make it, and then he used to win world title fights no problem. So some fighters are tight on the weight, yes, but it's not exactly an advantage to Eubank, and I think that won't be a problem for Arthur Abraham. He won't take any strength out of him, no way.
Well, they're top of the bill tomorrow night. Lee Selby is also on the card. The rest of the card is scrolling across the bottom of your screen right now. For Chris Eubank Jr., is this his biggest fight since losing to Billy Joe Saunders?
I think it is his biggest fight. It's his first defence, obviously, and I was impressed with what he said there, because he does want to make a statement. And what he wants, most people in boxing would say that Chris Eubank Jr. is the favourite tomorrow night, but it's how he wins is the big question. And he's going to try and make a statement. He wants to get the stoppage. No one stops Arthur Abraham. He's as hard as nails. He's someone now who's very seasoned, 24 world title fighter, 2-weight world champion, been in with the very best and held his own with everyone. But to stop him, that would be a major statement that would go out to the rest of the super middles. And remember, there's James DeGale, there's George Groves. It's a fantastic division domestically for us, world champions in abundance. It's fantastic.
And we're going to have some of those special guests with us tomorrow, ringside here on ITV Box Office. 25 fights, 24 wins, 27 years of age, Chris Eubank Jr. We know he's signed up to the World Boxing Super Series event. If he wins this, though, the next big milestone on the horizon is a unification fight with George Groves. He's looking at that. He wants that.
Yes, of course he does, and he also wants James DeGale, because they've had sparring sessions, and you hear rumours that who's been doing the better in the sparring. The boxers know themselves, and there's another very good WBC #1 middleweight out there, Callum Smith from Liverpool. Now he's in the mix. So there's DeGale, there's Groves, there's Callum Smith, and there's Eubank Jr. The good thing about Eubank Jr. is he can fluctuate between 2 weights. He can go middle, and he can also do super middle. He's more comfortable now at super middle, but he can drop down again, and that shows he's got talent, and he's got a lot of strength to go from middle to super middle and hold his own with the guys in the super middleweight division.
When he first moved up to super middleweight, he did say it wasn't going to be permanent.
Well, this is what I'm saying. He said that he wants to be a 2-weight world champion at middle and super middle. He's won the IBO title now. It's a less recognised crown, let's get it right, and that's why he wants to get it on with George Groves, who's the WBA champion, and the IBF champ James DeGale, who I think is an exceptional fighter. DeGale, always boxing on the road in people's home backyards. He's a great fighter, DeGale, and so, like I say, it's very, very exciting indeed. But Chris Eubank Jr. to win a world title at super middle and middle, you know, he would be like his father. His father did it. Steve Collins did it, Nigel Benn did it. He'd be along up there with those greats.
Some people say that about the IBO belt, but I'll leave you to tell Gennady Golovkin.
Yeah, well, we all know how good Gennady Golovkin is, but that's a fight that he wants also. I spoke to Chris Eubank Jr. He's craving for a Golovkin fight, or so he says.
Well, someone else who's moved up and down the weights is Floyd Mayweather Jr. And he will be fighting Conor McGregor at 154 pounds. Just tell me what you think about the decision to fight at that weight, because that's a weight where Conor's really comfortable. It's not so comfortable for the undefeated Floyd Mayweather Jr.
Well, when you look at Conor McGregor's record, he's been a world champion, remember, at lightweight and at featherweight. So it's a new weight division in a way for him also, and probably Mayweather thinking he's not a natural light middleweight anyway. But looking at the both of them when in the face-offs that they've had, McGregor looks naturally the bigger man. But like I say, Mayweather uses that to his advantage, and the biggest biggest problem is going to be the frustration for McGregor, like I've said before, and he'll fall into that trap. With Mayweather, it's the speed of movement, and he's not bothered if he can. He's making a calculated risk, like he has done in most of his fights, in that he's gone up to light middleweight or super welter, as we call it.
This is against Pacquiao.
This is against Pacquiao. This is a welterweight, so he can go to 154, but he never weighs in hardly at 154. He can be 4 or 5 pounds lighter than his opponent because he feels he has the advantage of the speed of movement. And look at him here against Marcus Banana. He's keeping his distance. He's boxing on the outside, waiting for his opponent to come in. Madonna's as strong as they come, but that was a lovely turn there. Then he's back on the centre of the ring. He controls the pace very well. Look how he hits Madonna there when Madonna was setting for an attack. So he waits for the bigger man to come forward, and he counter-attacks. He beats him to the punch. This is against Saul Alvarez, Canelo Alvarez, who's fighting Golovkin very shortly. A great fighter, one of the most exciting Mexican fighters we've seen in years. But look at Mayweather here. His hand speed is incredible. His punch kicking from hooks. There's the left hook that goes in there. Right hands, he'll throw right uppercuts also. He's exceptional. His accuracy is superb, but he does it all at distance. Look at that for a shot. Right uppercut to the middle, then he's back out to safety. That's what makes him so good, Sam.
He's been winning those belts for 21 years. He's been beating everyone in front of him 18 years. He's been a world champion, but it's all on the line in this fight. Well, that's what you're supposed to believe. Does he think, like most boxers, McGregor has just a puncher's chance?
Yes, I think that's exactly what Mayweather thinks. His opponent's got is a puncher's chance. But so have so many other boxers that have fought Mayweather. They all think that over 12 rounds, he'll slow down, there'll be a lapse in concentration, and I'll get him with that one big punch and lay him out. But why he's so good, Sam, is that he doesn't lapse in concentration. You can count the amount of times on your one hand that he gets caught clean over 12 rounds. He just doesn't lapse in concentration. His concentration levels are very, very good indeed. Every second of every round, Mayweather, he's on the ball. He concentrates. That's probably one of his greatest assets, his concentration.
By the way, I know you're not surprised by the delay to this press conference. You can see Ray Flores, the MC, in the centre of the ring here at the SSE Wembley Arena in London, whipping up the crowd and getting ready for the entrance of the two main protagonists tonight, the two superheroes, Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. And when you look at Conor McGregor, you know, he said, I'm going to do 44 fights in preparation. I think he was overselling that. Some boxers do, what, 125, 140 rounds of sparring for a big fight like this. But he has got that power with his punch. A lot of MMA fighters rely on other attributes, but his hands are the thing that does the damage.
Yeah, he's very good with his hands. I've seen this footage before. Look, he waits, he's looking for the shot. There's the shot there, super punch. Now he's goading his opponent. He wants his opponent to come forward. He actually attacked himself. And that's another move in MMA. But watch this there. He leans over for the right uppercut. Comes screw shot, but this is the best shot. What's this? He adjusts his feet. Now that's good boxing skills.
That's amazing. That's against a world champion. That's one of the biggest knockouts in UFC history in 13 seconds.
Adjusts his feet and then brings him onto shots. So his boxing skills aren't bad at all. And because he's got very small gloves on, what are they, 4 ounces or whatever, then these punches obviously hurt. The kid's got power, no question. But the big question is, what can he do differently against Floyd Mayweather that no one else has? That's the big question. Let's have a look here. There he is there, and he gets his hand raised. What can he do differently that all the other boxers have failed to do? Because he's got to find that big shot from somewhere. He's got 12 rounds to do it. He'll take a lot of punishment, I think, and a lot of stick in the process. But yeah, he's got the chance of landing that one shot. But you land it on Floyd Mayweather. No one else has yet. It's very difficult.
You look at some of those names that he's come up against and beaten: Diego Brandao, Max Holloway, Eddie Alvarez, we saw there, Nate Diaz, who we saw there, and Jose Aldo, as I mentioned, who he polished off in 13 seconds. He says he's Mystic Mac. He says he's Mystic Mac because in the dressing room prior to that fight, he told everybody, it's on tape, 13 seconds, I'll finish him off. And this is a guy who was undefeated for 10 years, one of the biggest names in MMA.
Yeah, he's a tremendous